Hello, and welcome back to our tech tour of Utah. Today we have Landon Glenn with us, who runs ASA Financial. How are you doing today, Landon?
I'm awesome. Thanks, Elizabeth. How are you?
I'm great. Thanks so much for joining us. I'm super excited about this. So tell us a little bit about what ASA Financial is and what it does.
Yeah, so ACE is an embedded app store as a service.
So what does that mean exactly?
So think of going into your bank app or your credit union app. And today, what you do in there is maybe check your balance, deposit a check. There's a few things. But imagine having an app store that allows you to link your data, your money, all of the relevant solutions that you might want from budgeting, investing, building credit, starting a business, paying off debt, kids apps, and to be able to get all of those seamlessly connected through your bank or your credit union of choice, and to have it work in a private, secure way. So it is an infrastructure that allows for that app store to happen. We control all of the data connections, money movement, payments, billing, SSO, KYC authentication. So essentially, we're bringing really strong technology offerings to the community through their trusted bank or credit union in a safe, private, secure way.
That's really interesting. So tell us about the kind of different organizations. Clearly, you're business to business. So tell us about the organizations that you work with currently and what you provide to them.
Yeah, so for example, this week we haven't announced the name yet, but we just signed a partnership to roll out our platform to 300 credit unions through the core processor and the mobile banking relationship embedded inside of it. And so those are the types of organizations that we target, core processing, the mobile banking app providers, the people that can put us in there so we can roll it out to, potentially millions of users all at once. And so that's one side of the marketplace. And the other side of it would be the actual app providers. So we have apps for filing your state and federal taxes where you can do it all within the mobile app. We have, like a TurboTax, right?
That'd be fantastic.
Yeah. So that's live. We've got apps for, we're working on a really cool new one that's in Utah called Kid Pay, and it allows you to pay your kids up to $14,600 a year tax free, and to track, the chores and the hours and the work, et cetera. So we have other apps that do things like building your credit score by reporting your on-time rent. We have apps that allow you to save $300 per month on average. Really cool one called Guac, and it instead of being like Acorns where you save 30 or 40 cents here or there, it's auto tipping. You're tipping Uber Eats, you're tipping the hair salon. Everybody wants a tip these days, and so why not tip yourself first? So every time you swipe your credit union card or your bank card, it would instantly move the money from checking to savings on the back end, and it sets aside the $5 or whatever that is and says, hey, congratulations, you're $5 closer to your Hawaii vacation. Keep up the good work. We're already looking for the best deal, that kind of stuff. So
Awesome.
cool apps for budgeting, paying off debt, starting a business, building credit, taxes. So we're looking for, engaging end user, business and retail apps, in addition to banks, credit unions. And I probably should have mentioned this, but we also have financial influencers. So
Mhm.
anybody that has a follower base, we have influencers. Some of them have millions of followers, New York Times bestselling authors, and they want to provide their own secure way for their followers to consume technology without having to expose their credit card number, their name, their email. We use uh, a system that keeps it private.
I hate to admit this, but there is I guess she's a comedian. I'm not really sure that I follow on TikTok. And she purchased a product and she got on TikTok and she's like, guys, I'm not being paid for this. This is not an ad. I just need to tell my fellow moms who've had some hair loss during pregnancy or after pregnancy. And it's like eyelash goo or whatever. And she was like, I swear I'm not getting paid for this. I'm legally required to tell you. And I am not kidding. I bought that eyelash goo and I've been using it religiously. And like I hate to admit that that's what marketing is, but that is absolutely
Yeah.
what marketing is. And if honestly, if someone that I really liked and watched on a regular basis was like, hey, try out this new financial tool. I mean, that's definitely one of those things that I would do in a heartbeat.
Well, yeah, and I can share a quick little example here on the video of some of the channels, but think of community credit unions, community banks, financial influencers, coaches, people that are helping their community level up their finances. And so we work through those partners to deliver best in class technology in a safe, private way. So yeah, so these are the three groups that ASA is looking for to expand our network.
Well, and that's a really fantastic product. Like, I think one of those things that we lack a lot of is there's the literacy around money, but there's also the confidence around money. And I think having the ability to have coaching as well as like the rent, there's so many people who pay rent these days that aren't buying. And a big part of that is because they don't have enough credit. And so you've got to build credit. And that's one of those safe, healthy ways to do so without taking out a bunch of credit cards and maxing them out. So, you know, that's my problem. But no, I absolutely love this. And so you've mentioned security a couple of times. Can you talk to me a little bit more about that?
Yeah, so really the security component is if you think of really some of the issues in the market, and well, actually, I have a slide for that too, I can pull up. But one of the biggest challenges when you go out on the internet is the first thing they have to do is you got to get registered, right? So it requires personal data, whether that's name, email, um, many times you're putting your credit card number into these websites or routing an account number, or if you want to connect your bank account, you have to put in the username and password to your bank. So as customers or consumers, we're, accustomed to doing this all the time.
Yeah.
You might put your stuff into 10 different places. And if one of them gets hacked, there goes all your data, there goes all your money. Or if you put it in the wrong spot, like a phishing scheme, and you put your password in the wrong website, well, there goes your bank account. You just gave away the credentials. And so it's a huge risk point. So the reason ASA was built is to minimize that fraud exposure. So when you go to use technology, we use a handle, like think of a gamer tag instead of a name, right? We use a virtual email. So every individual connection that you establish between your credit union or your bank and an app or a website is a de-identified email address that's unique to only that connection. So
Yeah.
completely eliminates the requirement of sharing your email with all these people and getting spammed. Um, we even charge the website or the consumer, the credit card. We charge your credit card or your bank account separately
Mhm.
for the transaction, and then we pay the vendor through our network. So we've had horror story. Everyone's probably had a horror story where someone won't stop charging your credit card or your bank account. You're like, how do I get this to stop? I'm gonna close the card or get a new. I got a new card one time and they still kept charging the new one, and I was like, I closed the card because I wanted you to stop charging it, and the new number you sent me somehow they're still charging it, right? And so it's this really frustrating experience. So what ASA does is we put that control in the customer's hands where they decide if the dollar leaves their bank account or not. They'll never have to share their credit card number again. They'll
Mhm.
never let's say you go to a website and you want to sign up, you would log in with ASA instead of log in with Apple or Facebook or Google. You think of all the fraud that happens on like Facebook Marketplace as an example. Well, ASA is credit union bank grade, know your customer, like that's called KYC verification, meaning
Mhm.
we know that you're an authentic person, we know you're real, and we've attached you to the bank account. We've performed that diligence to know that it's real. So it's like having a little check mark on Twitter, they're verified, right?
Yeah.
It'd be like that. Imagine buying secondhand Taylor Swift tickets and you know that the seller's authentic. They're not scamming you. That would allow for trusted transactions when you're buying a car, or house, or anything online. So that's the differentiator that ACE has built is that trusted network where you can engage in commerce, you can share your data, you could sign up for a website without the website having any idea who you are, and you could pay them and ASA would charge your credit card. We would pay them separately. So think of it as Brave browser times 10. So it's a huge step forward in privacy, security, and control for the end user.
Yeah, this is absolutely fantastic. So tell me a little bit more about yourself. Like, are you a lifelong Utahn or how'd you end up in Utah starting a company like this and doing so well?
Well, I'm a huge fan of Utah. I love Utah. I grew up in Washington State on an apple orchard. And
Oh, lovely.
yeah, so up in apple country, it's called Yakima, Central Washington. And then I came down here to go to BYU and did business school and then stuck around and started building companies. And most recently, I was really, kind of the face of a company called Bonsai, financial literacy technology, and we got that in 50% of schools in the United States,
Wow.
and hundreds and hundreds, under 1,000, but approaching 1,000 banks and credit unions across the country as partners. Won Best of Show at Finovate, won the Citibank Open Innovation Challenge, got to ring the opening bell on the New York Stock Exchange. Just really cool stuff. And then I sold in 2019. My brother and the other two partners are still running that, doing an incredible job. And then founded ASA as really the next phase or evolution. And we had brought financial education to the schools through banks and credit unions.
Yeah.
Now we want to bring just technology to live a better life, to empower the individual to consumers in a safe, trusted way through their bank or credit union. So you're not having to go set up bank accounts and pull your credit to try out new apps and tools. It'll work with what you've already got with your credit union or your bank in town.
Well, this all sounds fantastic. And thank you so much for joining us today and for being a part of our tech tour of Utah. We really appreciate your time.
Yeah, thanks for having me. It was a lot of fun.